All right, this is day 2 of reading Psalms every day until I've read the entirety of Psalms. So Psalms 2, starting in verse 1. I think today I'm just gonna read it all the way through and then kind of give a commentary on it, explain what it's talking about, so on and so forth. All right. So the title is "The Reign of the Lord's Anointed." I'm reading in ESV. Why do the nations rage and the people plot in vain? The kings of the earth set themselves, and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying, Let us burst their bonds apart and cast their cords from us. He who sits in heaven laughs. The Lord holds them in derision. Then he will speak to them in his wrath and terrify them in his fury, saying, As for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will tell of the decree. The Lord said to me, You are my son. Today I have begotten you. Ask of me, and I will make the nations your heritage, and the ends of the earth your possession. You shall break them with a rod of iron, and dash them in pieces like a potter's vessel. Now therefore, O kings, be wise. Be warned, O rulers of the earth. Serve the Lord with fear, and rejoice with trembling. Kiss the Son, lest he be angry and you perish in the way, for his wrath is quickly kindled. Blessed are those who take refuge in him. And so when I first read this, it was kind of confusing. I didn't know what he was talking about. Initially, I thought this was just like a commentary / warning to world leaders, both in this time period and then like prophetically in the future, which is halfway true. This is mainly because keep in mind, Psalms written in the Old Testament before Jesus, but this is prophetically speaking of Jesus. Verse 6 says, As for me, I have set my king on Zion, my holy hill. I will tell the decree. The Lord said to me, You are my son. Today I have begotten you. And so this is explaining to David that, through his lineage, because Jesus came from the lineage of David, that through David's lineage, that, Jesus will emerge from that lineage. And so it's, pretty sacred. Also, I saw this, the word Messiah comes from transliterating the word for anointed, which is in verse 2, the kings of the earth set themselves and the rulers take counsel together against the Lord and against his anointed, saying. But the transliteration of the word anointed in Hebrew is Messiah, and the word from Christ comes from translating anointed into Greek. And so all that to say, anointed is scholars would agree that it's referring to the Messiah, which is Jesus. And so, reading through this, I kind of got it all together to say that, Jesus is the true king. He's the King of Kings, as they say. And so no ruler is above him, and though he came onto this earth in servitude, that's actually like what true kingship looks like. It's not lording over people, and having dominion, though you can have, dominion, as Jesus has his own dominion being God, but he doesn't flaunt it or steward it in a way that is ungodly, I guess to say, because he is God. And so it's just an example of small scale of how we should be as leaders in our own sectors, but even just a commentary on how world leaders should act as well, to know that God or Jesus is the sovereign king above all. And so Jesus is the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, and I am so thankful for that. Anyway, this is a little shorter. That's probably a good thing. Thank you all who listened to the end. All right, bye-bye.